So, in this lecture, we'll discuss about the Rashtrakutas and their feudatory Parmas who actually ruled in the Madhya Pradesh area. So, during that, the brief time period was the Pushyabhuti dynasty. Under the Pushyabhuti dynasty, when the king was Harsh, he united India for a few decades until his death in 647 AD. So after that, there starts a battle for Kannauj, which was a tripartite struggle between Rashtrakutas, Pals, and Pratihars. Uh, Before that, they in the Gwalior there was Gupta, then Gurjar, Pratihars, and Kachapghat and the Tomar dynasties. So so in the Rashtrakutas, about the Rashtrakutas, it is known that there are four branches which ruled from Betul to Amravati. Nannaraj was the founder based on the two inscription in Multai and Titharkedi, and Nandi Durg might have emerged through this, who had actually defeated the Gurjar Pratihars. But about the Rashtrakutas, their one most important branch, Parmar, is very important in Madhya Pradesh history because they were appointed uh, in Malwa, and the Chandels were appointed in the Bundelkhand. About the Parmars. So, about the Parmars, it is said that they originated from the Abu Parvat, Mount Abu, and are from the family of Vasishtha. Their founder is known as Upendra as per the Udaipur Prashasti, who has said to has established it in 818. Then there comes Fair Singh, who shifted capital from Ujjain to Dhar. Then comes the first king, then comes the Siak one, who so Siak one was mentioned in the Udaipur Prashasti. Then comes the Krishnaraj Vakpati first, who adopted the title of Param Bhattarak Maharaja Adhiraj Parmeshwar. He was a feudatory of Rashtrakutas and is mentioned in Navsan Sanskrit by Padmagupta. Then comes Vair Singh II, who attacked the Kuntal and Ramathas and Mahipal of Pal dynasty to capture their some area. Then comes Harsh or Siak II. He was the first independent king killed by Yashovarman Chandel, and he defeated Huna king Jajja. Then comes Vakpati II. He adopted the title of Prithvi Vallabh and Sri Vallabh. He captured Mewar from Shakti Kunj and ruled till the Karnataka plateau. Then comes Sindhuraj. So he was father of Bhoj. He wrote books like Navsan Sanskrit, Malavraj, Kumar Narayan, Parmar Mahabrita, Navsansak. Helped the Nag king against Bajra king and later married Naga's daughter Shashi Prabha, captured Gongira of Gujarat and conquered Chalukya king Satyash Rai. Then comes the most important king, Bhoj. Bhoj was the polymath philosopher, patron of art, literature and science. He won over the Kaljuri king Gangadev, as we discussed in the previous lecture about the Gangadev. He also conquests the Kannada area. He was victorious on Dhar and on Gujarat, and he was the reason behind the annihilation of Solankis. So Solankis plus Kalchuris plus Someshwan together fought a battle in which Bhoj lost in 1055 and died. But about Bhoj, there are a lot more things. His reign was from 1010 to 1055 AD. Founded Bhopal and built Upper Lake. Wrote Champu Ramayana, Govind Vilas, Samragna Sutradhar, Yukti Kalpataru, Saraswati Kanthabharna. Built a Shiv temple in the Bhojpur, where there is a 3D structure of how architecture should be built, although this temple can never be completed. He adopted the title of Param Bhattarak Maharaja Dhiraj and Parmeshwar. Chalukya king Someshwar defeated him and looted Dar in 1047 AD. According to Farishta, he organized banquets twice a year and which used to last for 40 days. So he wrote 84 texts, construction of Sanskrit College and Bodhshala. He built Saraswati's temple or the Vagdevi's temple in the London Museum. Then Saraswati Janmotsav started. Then he was the one who started the cultural upliftment of Ujjain. Bhashya wrote about Ayurveda during his timeline. His administration, in the administration, Dhanpal Tilak Manjati tells about the administration. It is about the hereditary posts of the ministers, which is known as Amatya. Upramati Bhava Prachpan by Siddha and Kriti Patru is written by, and Kriti Patru is written by Lakshmidhar. Cities mentioned in Kubyalamala are Ujjain, Dhar, Mandu, Vidisha, Shergarh, Bhojpur and Mahishmati. Bhoj actually built the Bhojsagar Talab in Chittor. Deepal Raja built Deepal Sagar in Depalpur. Uday Aditya built Nilkanteshwar temple in Udaipur. Then during this timeline, literature also developed during the Parmar dynasty. So Dhanik wrote Yasho Rupa Valoka. Padmagupta wrote Nav Sanskrit Charit, which is a very important book. Raja Munj wrote about the administration. Raja Bhoj wrote about Maharaja Dhiraj, wrote by the name of Maharaja Dhiraj Kaviraj Shiromani Dhareshwar, and wrote Saraswati Kant Bharan, Shringar Majri, Sanrang Sutradhar, which tells about the architecture and the city planning. Vyavhar Manjari, Shringar Prakash, Champu Ramayan, Prakrit Ramayan, Man Malika, Amakya, Anekar Hatkosh, Sanjeevani, Nyayvartika, Rajmartan, Aditya Pratap Prasidhant, which tells about the sun theory, and Prashanna Vigyan. Arjun Varman wrote about King Amrushatak. Arjun Varman was also a king who wrote Amrushatak and Rasik Majri. Hal Yudh wrote Kavi Rahisya, Kavita Granth, Abhidhan and Ratnamala. Uttav wrote Manti Bhashya. Dhananjay wrote Dashru. Pandit Ashdhar wrote Suhas Madan. Sita was written during Upendra. Devasana was a Jain text written by Devasana wrote a Jain text known as Aradhna Sar. Mahasen wrote Pradyumna Charit. Prabhachandra wrote a book on Jainism. Also, as per the sources, the last king of Parmars was Mahaldev, who was defeated by Enemulk, who was commander of Alauddin Khilji. And inscriptions of Parmar kingdom is found in Udaipur, Prashasti, Nagpur, Vasantgarh, Patnara, and Jain records Kirat Raj, Surat, Dhanpatra, Betma Dhanpatra, Badnagar inscription, Hasola inscription, Mahakaleshwar inscription, Khajuraho inscription. And about the architecture, so Nilkanteshwar temple in Udaipur was built by Udayajit king. Un in Khargon is a group of 99 temples. Mamleshwar, Maheshwar, and Mahakaleshwar and Gupteshwar were the temples built by them. Siddheshwar temple was built in Nemawar, which is part of Devas district. Mudi temple in Mandsaur. Also Shiv temple, Shiv Mandir of Bhoj Mandir has the largest Shivling, although the temple is still incomplete and has a 3D map-like architecture.